Hi everyone, welcome to my mom's channel. Today we're making a quick and easy puff pastry turnover. For that you will need a kg of puff pastry. We are using Fatima's puff pastry today, but we usually use today's puff pastry. We will also need some milk to smear over the puff pastry, and as an added optional we have grated almonds that we will put on top of the puff pastry. So to start, this pastry has come out of the freezer and it's set outside of the freezer for about 2 hours. If you feel that it's too soft, you can put it back into the fridge until you're ready to use it. And we've sprinkled some flour on the counter and laid the pastry sheet on top of it. We'll now add a little bit of cake flour on the top and we'll gently roll out the pastry sheet. We're very smoothly going to roll out the puff pastry until it's a little bit thinner. And then I have a ruler here just to measure out the pastry. Ideally we want to partition it into squares around 8 by 8 centimeters. So we'll gently cut out our pastry. Okay, so here we have one of our puff pastry partitions, and then what we'll do is we'll gently turn it over, hence the term puff pastry turnovers. We've also preheated our oven at 150 degrees Celsius, and we'll now prepare our trays with spray and cook so that we can place our turnovers onto it. So we'll place our turnovers onto the tray. Now that we have our puff pastry turnovers in the oven tray, we'll gently smear it with a bit of milk. That gives it a nice brown glaze when it comes out of the oven. And then we'll finish it off with a light sprinkle of our grated almonds. And there we have it. It's ready to be placed into the oven. We will increase the temperature to about 180 degrees Celsius for around 30 minutes, and then we'll check in on how the turnovers are doing. We've had our puff pastry turnovers in the oven for 30 minutes, and we've now taken it out, It looks lovely roasty brown. That's how we know it's done, by the color, which is a nice golden brown, and by the texture. You can see the flaky layers of the puff pastry once it's been in the oven. So we'll allow this to cool for a few minutes, and then we'll make our filling in the meantime. So while our puff pastry turnovers are cooling, we are now ready to make the filling. We can either use a jam filling, which is quick and easy, or we can choose to make an icing filling. And for that we'll need a cup of icing sugar, a tablespoon of lemon juice, a tablespoon of milk, and a teaspoon of melted butter. So let's start with sieving our icing sugar. Then we'll add our butter, our milk, and our lemon juice. And we'll mix that together. If you feel that your mixture is too grainy, you can add a little bit more milk. You can incrementally add more milk until the texture is nice and smooth, not too runny, but well enough to work with. So now we'll let this sit in the fridge while we wait for our puff pastry turnovers to cool down. If we use the icing on a hot pastry, then it will melt. So we'll just allow it to sit in the fridge for a while. We've allowed our puff pastry turnovers to cool for about 45 minutes, and we're now ready to work with it. So to the first one I would add a jam filling, about 2 to 3 teaspoons. Like so. And to the second one, you gently crack open towards the middle area so that it creates a gap for which you can use to apply your filling. To the second one, we're adding about 2 teaspoons of the icing that we had prepared earlier. And then we can lightly sprinkle some icing sugar over the pastries just to finish it off. There we go. there we go, our puff pastry turnovers served with a lovely cup of tea, ideal for a nice tea time snack. With our 1 kg of puff pastry, we were able to make 15 turnovers. You can seal this in an airtight container for up to a week, and you can really get creative with the designs that you make with your turnovers. So you can go for stars or flowers or just simple regular squares. Enjoy and happy baking. Thank you.